home of the Trojans and located in beautiful central Oahu. This year, 2023, marks our school's 50th anniversary. To commemorate this monumental year, we are holding numerous events to recognize the extensive and decorated history of our school. One such event will be 50 interviews from 50 different people who have shaped the school into what it is today. These interviews are encapsulated through 50 different videos that will be released weekly between January 2023 to January of 2024. Please join us in this momentous occasion with the people that have witnessed our home's history firsthand. We here at Mililani hope you enjoy learning about our school as much as we cherish retelling it. This is Mililani High School's 50th anniversary. Today's interview is with Teresa Kenney. She only attended Mililani High School for a short time, but the impact she had can still be heard.
All right. Well, hi, my name is Terry Kenney. When I was at Mililani, people knew me as Teresa Spires, and I helped write the alma mater. My father was military. My mother's family is actually from South Carolina. My father was from New York. So I was a military kid, traveled all around until we moved here. This was my father's last station. So I've been in Florida since 1976. Well, it's funny because I actually found my yearbooks. I went up into the attic. So I was at Mililani in 75, 76. My father moved there, it was seventh grade. So I went to Wheeler. My father lived at Wheeler, so I went there for intermediate and then onto Mililani.
I see. So you were at Mililani High School for 2 years, 1 year?
I was there for freshman and half of my sophomore.
What are your recollections or memories of your time at Mililani High School?
Oh, well, I mean, it was very small, but when I was there was mainly just a little L. So it was very small. We had we didn't have the cafeteria the first year I was there. So we all sat in the little courtyard area there. Lots of good friends and some friends that I'm still in touch with this day. Long time. I always say one of the lines in the alma mater was because I sat in my classroom and you could actually see all the way down to the ocean.
From the mountains to the sea.
Yeah, the blue skies, Yes, it was quite the view back then.
Yeah.
And the bugs that would jump over, when you're having lunch out. Yes, good time. One of my favorites was Mrs. Johnson. She did speech and drama. I always liked doing that. I loved her classes. I actually had her when I was at the intermediate. Did that. Of course, I remember Spanish class. I think it was Mrs. Burns, because I had some friends in that class, and I met some good friends there too. Mrs. Fukuda, who was, I think that's how you pronounce it, she was my English teacher, and she's the one that had the extra credit, and was for the alma mater. So we had a thing to do extra credit, and I'm glad I did it. As she had told us about, it was basically a contest that was going on, and she wrote examples of several alma maters, a couple of the local high schools. She also had USC Trojans, which, that was kind of helpful. We wrote it first. We wrote it, and then it came back to me, and they had at that time picked music. So, like I said, it was given back to me, and I had the opportunity to go and change some things and try to fit it to the music. Well, I'm not a musical person. I had no idea, so I just kind of left it in my folder. So when that deadline came, she asked me if I had, wanted to resubmit it, and I'm like, well, I didn't do anything different. So she's basically, just turn it in. You never know, and there you go. It fit pretty well.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. At the end, there's a little bit of difference. Kind of all hail, hail, hail. That was a little different than what that was added on. So, but basically, you can kind of see most of it was kind of just like I wrote it.
Uh,
I should have got an A, right?
yeah. Probably should have got a little extra credit for that one.
In fact, when I was going up in my attic to find my yearbooks, I found this. It's the stub of the check when I won.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
pretty
What's
cool, huh? It just says here, winner for composing Mililani High School's alma mater,
and what was the
and
handsome reward that you received?
a big $25.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
My mother was pretty good at making sure we kept some things, and this was an important one. So
Wow, yeah,
still have it.
and it looks in great shape too.
Yeah, go figure, right?
So I have to ask, what did you spend the money on, if you recall?
Goodness gracious, no idea. No idea. But I think it's funny because look, it's check number 252. So
Wow.
not a whole lot of checks had been written.
Yeah, yeah. Who are, some of the people that you grew close with in your time, whether, including Wheeler? I'm assuming you guys kind of came through there together.
Yes, yes.
And can you kind of talk about what that's meant to you over the years to be able to, keep in touch with those friends that you made at Mililani High School?
Oh yeah, it's very neat. So much is due to Facebook because as a military kid, you lose touch, and with the things that Facebook brings and all the groups, you're able to reconnect. And as I said, that sense of community as a military brat, you miss out on that. So it's great to get in touch with my friend Hope Garrow. I actually met her. It was actually this time last year I was there. Her
Her
son's a
son,
teacher
right,
there.
is a teacher there. Yeah, Jeremy. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, It's always a small world. And it was funny when we went in and Hope's like, this is she wrote the alma mater and people just kind of stopped in the office and looked. So and we have been missing each other. It's very funny. Like I would be here and she's like, "Oh, I was just there." Or it was I was in Australia and she's like, "I'm in Australia," but we were at opposite ends. So it was really wonderful to actually meet up with her. I met her at Zippy's. We had breakfast, and then she took me across the street over to Mililani, and everybody was so nice. It was a great experience. And Karen Moore, she was a friend of mine, and I actually, when I was there, we met up in the airport. She was coming back from the mainland at Honolulu at the airport there, and I was coming in. I'm getting ready to get on my plane to come back to Florida. So she was at my gate when I got out, and we talked for about 20 minutes or so. So that was neat. And Anna Bailey, she's one of my good friends. We haven't been able to meet up, but we will eventually. But as I said, Facebook, and there's different, on a Mililani group and a Wheeler group. So it's a great way to catch up with people.
What was it like, transitioning to the other side of the country? And
it was very sad because I had a good bond with my friends there, and I have to tell you, we had this tradition that when somebody leaves, we would all go to the airport and say goodbye. Back in the days when you could go to the gate, and I had like a horrible time. I think our time was like 1 o'clock in the morning, but it was so great because Anna and Hope came to see me off. So it was a good feeling in my heart to, when I left. Satellite it was a bigger high school, Satellite High School. It was very nice because for the first time, I actually had neighbors who were in my class. It was nice to start off with somebody that I knew to go to different classes, and I made really good friends there. My one friend, we're still friends to this day. My best friend from Satellite, we still get together every couple months, and so that was good. But it was close, um, and well, I stayed. I went to a community school and community college, and that's where I met my husband to be. So then we went to the University of Central Florida. Some other people went there too. So yes, we graduated from there, and we have 2 children. And it was very important for me that my children grew up in the same place. My husband grew up in this community, and it was the whole Ohana. And it's a great feeling to see them as adults. because they now have all those childhood friends. I call it a village too. They have their village of kids that they grew up with, and now their kids are growing up with friends that they had too. So that was part of the thing I always felt from Mililani and from the town there, that it was a great sense of community. My son recently got married. He is 36 for the first time. And he is now the father to 3 children, which is funny because now he's learning all these things, a 13-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 6-year-old, 2 girls. So it's kind of funny to listen to him complain. I'm having a lot of fun with that. He and his wife, they got married at the end of May, and they've moved to Japan.
Nice.
So they work for DoD, both of them. So they took new positions over there, and we're actually going to go visit them this summer to see them. My daughter and her husband, they met when they were 10 years old. So that's kind of a neat love story there. They have 2 children, and they live locally. And we are so blessed that they actually were in a very, very bad car crash right before New Year's. They were going up skiing and on a 2-lane road, and somebody pulled out and hit them head on. Jeez. So we are so very fortunate. They had broken bones and, pins and things like that, but they're going to be okay. Every day they get better, and every day they get back to their life. But it's going to be fun going through the airport. They all have metal in them. So
what did you go into professionally as a career?
Well, I have a degree in finance, but it didn't really work when the kids were in school. We kind of made that decision that I would be a stay-at-home mom. We might not have as much things, but we would still have that sense of mom being home and that all that type of stuff. So I was, the carpool mom, the PTO mom, the fundraiser mom. So I was glad to be able to do that. Then when my daughter got married, I decided that I started a linen rental company where I rented linens for weddings, and I was a bridal consultant. You get a little bit older, the knees start to go bad, and so kind of stepped out of that and just kind of selling off the inventory now and everything. It's nice to spend weekends with my husband. He likes to play softball still, so that gives us a little bit more time on the weekends. And plus, he doesn't have to complain about spending his time on the weekends helping me load up stuff.
You mentioned the University of Central Florida because one of the other individuals, or 2 of the other individuals, are hoping to interview our former quarterbacks from Mililani. Being someone who attended Mililani back in the day, and then attending Central Florida, and then watching these guys, decades later come through and really become national names. What was that whole experience like for you? How exciting was it?
I was so excited because I'm like, I went to that school. We have something else in common. I hope to meet them one day. No, one time I was at a game and kind of close to the field, and I saw some little kids go down. I'm like, should I go down? I'm like, no, I'm gonna let all the little kids go. But I don't want to act like a crazy old lady fan. But
that's what you take the grandkid with you, right?
Well, I would be pushing them, but unfortunately they went there, and my husband wouldn't do it. So I didn't do it. But I know my son's like, hey, if they go, you need to get some autographs. I'm like, I will, because we all went to UCF. Okay. My husband, myself, my son, and my daughter. It's kind of our family school. My husband's sister and brother-in-law, they went, and their son. So it's kind of a family school for us, UCF, which is another example too. When we went there, it was very small, campus. We didn't have just kind of like being in Mililani. Kind of had the bare necessities. I mean, we had one gym back there, and we go back to campus, and my husband's like, I don't know this place.
You mentioned you've been back to the school, sounds like a number of times, and I think most recently you mentioned last summer. Obviously a lot of changes from 75, 76 to 2022. Just your thoughts on what you saw on what you were feeling, I guess, when you were walking.
Right, it was just amazing. Like I said, when I was there, when I left, the cafeteria had opened up, and there was another building kind of behind. It was kind of a science type of stuff. So to go back now and see how it's grown, to see the stadium, all that type of, a gym. I don't know if we had a gym. I know there was portables for PE, and that's about all I remember. But yeah, it's definitely amazing and exciting. We would have to, like I said, we had no cafeteria the first year. We would have like just kind of get a little tray. They would bring food in and you'd sit out in the courtyard, or then there would be like some of the food trucks in the back. So we would do that sometimes too.
Oh, okay, like the Manapua man.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow,
yes.
They still had those back then too, huh?
Yeah.
They still come around every once in a while, not too often, but they're still around.
Yeah, that's what we do. And no, there was no Walmart or anything. Like I said, when we came the time with the kids, just the the Mililani area. I'm like, what? I'm like, we didn't have anything like this, and not even the is it H2 that goes through there now?
Yeah.
I think it was being built, but I don't think it was all the way up like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having to go through the gulch there or something.
Papa Gulch on Cam Highway.
Yeah. Yes.
That was it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Different times.
What are your thoughts, or what's your opinion on just the importance of the high school? It's almost geographically in the center of the town. It's next to the town center of Mililani as well.
Yes.
And they've kind of grown together. What's kind of your thoughts on just the imprint that the school has on the community, and the importance and how much they have kind of developed together?
Right. Well, I think with just from only seeing that, and to see our area where we live in too, you'll get the housing that comes in, and then you have your schools, and really that's where your sense of community starts to come in, when you have children involved and parents involved and family involved. And like I said, here it just always seems to it becomes all one village. You all depend upon each other. But once you start having schools with children and families, that starts giving you that sense of community, because then you have other outreach programs that come from that. Your athletics, your all that, everything else that's involved. Well, my husband was an athletic director, so I always go towards sports. But yeah, all that seems to be the heart of the community, I feel.
If you would like to attend our 50th Anniversary Gala, or if you want more information about our 50th anniversary, please visit the websites linked in the description below. To keep up with our weekly interviews, please subscribe and/or check out our 50th Anniversary playlist.